So if I know what you did last summer goes into I still know what you did last summer, and then you flip that and you'll get I'll always know what you did last summer. How did we recycle back to I know what you did last summer?
Huh? It just, you always want to know what people did last summer. You can't always know what people did last summer, but I can know what you did last summer.
But if I'll always know what you did last summer, does that mean technically we're talking about some I don't know.
You like that, old man? You want a piece of me?
Do I feel lucky? Well, do you, punk?
Good morning, Vietnam! I love the smell of napalm in the morning.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
I feel the need for speed.
I wish I knew how to quit you.
Love means never having to say you're sorry.
You do? You'll shoot your eye out, kid.
What up? Happy Tuesday, moviegoers. Welcome to episode 358. Welcome to I Know What You Did Last Summer. You're listening to a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Juan, and I am joined by the cast, the crew, the people who know what I did last summer. Jay,
Hey, how's it going out there in podcast land?
the 4K bad guy, Nick,
Hello, everybody. It's been quite a bit since I've
Say hello
done a
to
stream.
the bad guy. Say hello to the bad guy.
has it been since last summer, Nick? No.
Things kind of just. I haven't honestly looked back into the timeline, but it's been a bit.
It
Hey,
is
don't put him in a spotlight. Like, hey,
Been a short break.
He lost his smile.
he did. Did you? But that's why he's the bad guy. You know, bad guys don't have smiles unless they're smirks to sit there and show off how badass they are.
If you guys did not join us last week, I encourage you to go back and listen to last week's episode. We talked all about James Gunn's Superman. It was a fabulous conversation. It's only available on YouTube. It is not available wherever you usually listen to podcasts. That's some technical difficulties from last week, but it is on this YouTube channel, on Imisawa Productions YouTube channel. So go ahead and check us out. We are reviewing. We did Superman last week, so go check it out and give us a like, a listen, and subscribe to this YouTube channel.
And if you want to hear me talk about Superman in about 15 minutes before the end, blackout drunk, go right ahead. That's the perfect way to listen to our podcast. But before we get going today, can we sit there and say, honor Ozzy Osbourne? I know he's not a movie. He's been in movies like Little Nicky and everything like that, but we lost Ozzy today. And silence.
Ozzy, which one? Osbourne?
Osbourne. Ozzy Osbourne died today, yes.
I'm just teasing. Yeah, it was sad. Hey, we also lost the guy from the Cosby Show.
Yeah, Malcolm Jamal Warner. He drowned in Costa Rica in an uptide. It's been a tragic week for losses, man. But I think the biggest one that hurt the most was Ozzy, because before we went on air, I went and listened to Mama, I'm Coming Home, and I got a little weepy.
I was listening to Dreamer on the way back home.
Oh, I love that song.
Yep. So, Nick, do you have a favorite Ozzy song?
I'll be quite honest, I didn't listen to a lot of Ozzy.
Well, you're already banned. You're banned from the show. Goodbye.
It was nice. A few seconds. No, but I mean, honestly, I think I saw the movie we're reviewing today. Um, After getting out of the theater, I saw the news about Ozzy. I was like, damn, that sucks.
My daughter, my 17-year-old daughter, messaged me today going, "Dad, Ozzy Osbourne died. I'm so sad." I'm like, "Oh, that makes me so sad, but it makes me feel so good that my 17-year-old knows who Ozzy was."
Yeah. But no, yeah, go back last week, check out Superman. It's available on YouTube at Imisawa Productions. If you want to go back into the archives and check out any of our past episodes, wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be Spotify, Anchor, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, and now we are on Apple Music by way of Prescribed Films Network. So
Nice.
go to www.prescribedfilmsnetwork.com, and you can listen to us there on that network, along with a bunch of other great podcasts like the Movie Defenders, Attack of the Killer podcast, all kinds of stuff. So go check them out. A lot of good guys over there. And you can also check us out on the social media. Facebook.com/The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, Instagram / The Cine-Men Movie Podcast, X is at Cine-Men405, and then the email CINEMEN921 @gmail.com. Next week, I will be back, and we'll be back to video starting next week. So until then, hi ho! It's time to
I hope. I
let's get
hope.
time to get into some recent watches. We kind of talked a little bit last week about something that we'd recommend, but we'll start this week. Nick, since it's been a minute, why don't you join us? And what's anything recently that you've kind of been keeping up with? Anything you've watched recently that you want to recommend?
As far as theater watches, I did check out Jurassic World, Superman, um, this movie we're reviewing, little pieces of wrestling. And honestly, I'm going blank right now on what else I actually watched. Um,
I also watched some.
Oh, Nick, are you done, or did you want to recommend anything else?
no, I think that'll probably be it. Because honestly, can't remember much of my recent watches. Honestly, just a bunch of YouTube random videos.
Hey, those are recent watches. If we see a
Yeah.
good one, we tell about it.
So, Jay, what about you? Do you have anything you want to mention right off the bat? What would you recommend?
He mentioned wrestling. I have a good friend named Sam Stackhouse that wrestled last weekend at GCW against his best friend KJ Orso, and they had an absolute bloodbath. Like, I'm serious. I've never seen so much blood in a wrestling match. There was blood all over the floor. There was blood all over. A cowbell had blood all over it. There was huge spots of blood in the ring, and the match ended with KJ Orso threatening to hit my best friend's wife with a steel chair in her face. And that it was absolute cinema. And then I watched the first 4 original Star Trek. I watched all of the Indiana Jones except the final one, the Dial of Destiny, Top Gun Maverick, Top Gun. I went through just a binge of. I watched Bullet Train. That one I recommend a lot. I just went through and watched a lot of stuff that we had on our Vudu that I haven't watched in a while, and I even watched I Know What You Did Last Summer, and we'll get to that here in a little bit. But I did watch a ton of different movies this week.
Nice, good. My watch list is again still kind of small. All my stuff is packed up as far as movies go, but I did check out I Know What You Did Last Summer for the episode, and then what did I watch? I checked it out on Netflix. Hard Eyes.
I haven't got to watch that yet. I want to.
It's terrible. I no joy whatsoever. I didn't even give it a ranking yet. I'm probably going to do that now as we talk during this podcast. But yeah, I'd probably give it a 1.5 out of 5. I just did not
that
like it
bad?
at all. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I know that the dude from the Scream series, Cuba Gooding Jr.'s son in it. I can't remember what his first name is.
Mason
But
Gooding.
there we go. I know he's in it.
Yeah. That doesn't save the movie at all.
He doesn't.
No. Not a fan. Probably will never have the urge to buy it or ever watch it again. So
Ooh,
yeah,
and you're a film buyer.
I'm a buyer, man. So yeah, that's me though. That was me this week. If you guys want to recommend anything out there that you're listening, hit us up. Get us up on the social media. Send me an email, cinemen921@gmail.com, or hit us up on any of the social media accounts and recommend something. I am tonight. I can't wait. I'm going to finally get into the Bears season 4. So
Nice.
that's what I'm going to start today. Nick, did you get into that yet?
I'm actually behind on Bear.
Okay.
Yeah. Though, as far as show series that I went through was probably just Squid Game, honestly.
The new one?
Yeah.
Nice. That did come out. That's good. But yeah, if you guys want to hit us up on the social media, go ahead. Until then, let's dig into what we're talking about today. Today we are talking about I Know What You Did Last Summer, the sequel to the 90s. Well, is it a requel? Because technically,
it's a requel.
I Still Know What You Did Last Summer counted.
Well, to me it's a requel because it's a sequel / retelling of the same damn story.
A group of friends are terrorized by a stalker who knows about a gruesome incident from their past. Starring Madeline Klein, Chase Wonders, Jonah King, Tyreek Withers, Billy Campbell, Sarah Pidgeon, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Freddie Prinze Jr., Jennifer Love Hewitt, Austin Nichols, Brandy Norwood, directed by Jennifer Caton Robinson.
You just gave a spoiler away right there in the naming of the names of who's in the movie.
Currently on IMDb is at a 5.7, Rotten Tomatoes at 38%, the Metascore is at 43%, while the Letterboxd is at a 2.6, with a July 18th, 2025 release date. The budget was about $18 million, and so far it's grossed $25.7 million at the box office. Jay, we'll start with you. In a few short words, when the movie was over, what'd you think?
W2F.
Nick, what about you?
All right.
I'll do another Matthew McConaughey then. I'll do all right. So
you guys are way more generous than I'm being. Like I said, Juan, you gave a spoiler away whenever you named the cast list off.
No spoiler.
You did. Sarah Michelle Gellar.
It's a ghost scene. I mean, we're 13.
Okay. Spoiler, we're 14 minutes in. Spoiler alert.
But I mean, there's no spoiler really. We knew she's dead. She's not coming back. It was just a little dream sequence.
She looked good in that dream sequence. I don't know if they de-aged her or just left her alone, because either way, she looked great.
It looked like she was honestly just left alone with a lot of makeup.
And I think that as well.
Yeah.
Because Sarah Michelle Gellar has aged like fine wine.
So, and if you saw her on the red carpet event with Freddie Prinze Jr., she still looked like she could have played Helen from 30 years ago.
Okay, like I said, she's aged like fine wine. So has Jennifer Love Hewitt. Gotten a little thicker, but still, ooh, is she delicious.
So let's talk about the sequences. And you know, I am getting a lot of I'm seeing like a lot of really, really bad reviews about this movie. and granted, you can go back 30 years ago. The original 2 movies, it's not like they were masterpieces by all means.
A couple weeks ago, I did go back and rewatch the original 2, not the 3. I said 2 because I've still never seen. I'll always know what you did last summer, but I seen the original 2, and I gotta sit there and say they don't hold up very well. 2 is better than 1 though.
Nick, what about you? Did you rewatch any of the other 2 before you went and checked this one out?
I wanted to, but I didn't get around to. But it wasn't really that long ago they actually did recheck them out, because I have the 4Ks of those movies. Of course, I didn't need to watch the third one. It's not really necessary to watch that on.
Oh yeah, the third one's completely unnecessary.
Yeah, I wanted to go back and rewatch them, but I'm kind of glad I just went in scot free and just went in with the memory of those two movies. Um, yeah, so
You're probably better with the memory of them than actually watching it how I did, because like I said, the first one was okay. It was cool and all, but the second one I thought was better, just because the supporting cast was better. Like Jack Black was hilarious in the second one. Brandy was great. You had what's it, Mekhi Phifer? He was really good in it. The first cast, Ryan Felipe. I've never been a fan of Ryan Felipe. I've always thought, acting wise and personality wise, I always thought he was a dick. It was just I can't get past that.
I am kind of interested to get you guys' thoughts on how the movie opened up. I am very, very surprised that it doesn't bother me that almost the exact same situation happened, because let's be honest, stuff like that happens all the time. But what I'm a little bit upset about, and you guys can tune in and chime in, I'm kind of upset that the dialogue was almost just recycled for this movie.
A lot of this movie, besides what was going on at what the finale was, if you've seen the trailer, sadly you've seen the movie.
Well, I mean,
And
there's a lot of positives too, but right now I'm just a little. I wanted to get off my chest about how the biggest problem I had with the movie was the dialogue was just reused from the first movie. It felt
and
like.
I agree. No, you're absolutely correct. It was basically different settings, meaning what I mean by different settings, that they were in different rooms at different places, but the dialogue was exactly the same. The characters exactly the same. It 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 didn't feel like they tried, in my opinion.
Nick, what about you? Do you have any negatives kind of like this right off the bat, or?
Mhm. It'd probably be honestly, it was like too similar.
Now the
But
question is,
yeah,
the question is, was this better than I Still Know What You or I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, even though I haven't seen it?
I haven't
yeah,
seen it either.
I would say yeah,
It is okay.
yeah. But now it's not like a whole like 10 times better or anything like that, but still watchable.
Okay. When I see that released, I Still Know What You or I'll Always Know What You Did Last Summer, I was like, yeah, I pass. But
I've only seen that movie once, and I was like, I don't know if I'm ever gonna check it out again.
that shows you how good a quality a movie is. If you sit there watching it the first time and you're not even through it, you're like, I'm not never watching this again.
Yeah. Well, even with that being some of the bad, some of the horrible stuff going on as far as like, the dialogue was just kind of reused. Shooting on location to me was absolutely worth it. I really enjoyed them shooting the same time, not really the same place, but it did
Um,
feel like. Go ahead.
it was more of a modernized version of what we were used to in '96 and '97, or '97 and '98. Because they
Uh,
try to sit there and sell it like the land developer come in and he took this seaside town that was starting to kind of fall apart and he turned it into this uber rich place, kind of like the Hamptons.
which I have to applaud because I think setting not the mayor up, but the real estate guy who is ultimately rich, who wanted to take away the past of that place with those murders, it's a real life kind of story that could really happen, and it automatically puts him to be almost it flirts with the idea that he could be the one who's trying to, you know, keep everything hidden.
He's a very good red herring.
Yeah. Um so I do like that aspect of it, but some other stuff that is like really positive about the movie, the gore. I thought the gore was way more extreme in this movie than any of the other movies. The kills, there were way more kills, and they were just top notch as far as the way at how bloody they were. Um, flirting with the idea of 2 or more killers, I thought was a good one, because you kind of, the thing that I know what you did last summer goes, and I still know what you did last summer, is there's not very many swerves, if you will, that you kind of flirt with who it might be, but halfway through the movie, if you're watching it for the first time, you're kind of like, it's obvious.
Well, with I still know what you did last summer, there were 2 killers in that movie, and there was a twist that it was the guy that was the original killer in the original film. His son helped him out
Yeah.
in the second one. Whereas this one, we'll go ahead and spoil it. There are 2 killers in this movie, and personally to me, neither of them worked, and that's what killed the movie for me.
And then the legacy screen time, I have to say I really enjoyed how, even though some of the newer actors weren't up to top notch, let's be honest, Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt, they're not. It's not like they're, Tom Hanks and
No,
you know what I mean.
yeah, they're
So
not.
so what I enjoyed most about this movie is it didn't have to rely on the legacy characters to just get this movie over. 10 minutes for Freddie Prinze Jr., 7 minutes for Jennifer Love Hewitt. Perfect. They didn't. You don't need an overkill of both of those characters.
They were in the movie, to me personally, a very good amount of time. But with the new cast, I was kind of confused with the new cast. I was like, who's this? Who's that? I was paying attention to the movie, but then again, it was like, who is this? Who's that? I got confused by who was who and everything like that, and what they were trying to convey. I might have to rewatch it again to sit there and understand who the lead character was, but they all acted and looked the same to me, meaning the new cast members. You said the killings were better. I thought, yes. How many times can you kill somebody with a meat hook or that hook? There, the spear gun kill at the beginning that we've seen in the trailer, that was a good kill. There was a couple good kills in the movie, but the rest of it I didn't find it as gory as you did. I felt it kind of simplistic and kind of pedantic and by the books because I've seen just too many horror movies here recently where they use a hook or they use something pokey and they kill them through the neck and stuff like that. And there's a lot of that in this movie.
Nick, what about the kills? The kills for you did it, or what do you think?
I mean, they're pretty good. I think with this, what they did this time around, I trying to go by memory by the first movies, but it seems like they were a little bit more creative with the display, like aftermath. What you saw, like how they were angled and sort. That was a pretty cool touch to it.
You're talking about like the hanging of the bodies, and he displayed them. He displayed them as almost like a trophy case.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a different spiel.
And some of the kills, personally, they were uncalled for. The podcaster, that was just an extra body. We didn't need there was no need for the podcaster in the movie.
I don't really agree with that. I mean, what if she was so much on trying to pull out the legacy from what had happened in the past? I mean, A, she was just probably in the way, and then B, like, what if she was one of the ones who could have started digging and
I would have rather followed her storyline than some of the cast members that were the leads, like the girl getting married, because she's taken a bath and her boyfriend gets murdered. We see that in the trailer. I would have rather followed the podcast girl sitting there trying to uncover the new mystery. Whereas, we just have these guys that did something less. I would have,
But she even says it herself in the movie that her biggest goal is to just try to interview Julie James and Ray.
And she did get to interview one of them.
I think. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead. You go ahead. I was gonna ask something, but go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just gonna ask. Can we talk about the biggest misfire in this movie?
We're 24.
Or should we wait?
We can.
My biggest misfire in this movie.
Your big. Okay, we'll get there.
Okay.
I did want to bring up the whole situation at how you know, it did kind of flirt also with the idea of it could have been one of the friends, um, whether it be the main character now in this movie, if we want to look at her for just a minute, is um, Ava, played by Chase Wonders. What do you guys think of Ava and her friends like Danica, Teddy, and Milo? Those are your new Fab Four of this movie.
Disposable and unwarranted. Like I said, I would have rather followed the podcast girl because the podcast girl had more of an interesting storyline.
Nick?
Mm. Like I'm siding with Jay on that, but the podcaster, it's kind of mixed bag. Like sure the what's that guy's name? Teddy was pretty douchey, but it did kind of make some sequences pretty interesting to watch, and how he was like one of the guys that actually fought back. Yeah.
Yeah, so you guys know I love A24, and it's always good to see another A24 actress get into a different horror genre or a different, like, you could call this a mainstream movie, except this movie didn't make as much as it probably wanted to, but it had that title, it had that or I Know What You Did Last Summer. And Chase Wonders going from Bodies, 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 On the Rocks, to other A24 movies to now something like this. I think she was probably my favorite actress in the movie, if I'm not counting the legacy characters. I do kind of feel like maybe Teddy and Milo were easily disposable, and they kind of were. Um,
Here's the thing about a lot of the characters. I didn't give two shits on who any of them were because I didn't care.
but
A
looking
lot
back,
of time, a
looking
lot
back,
of times while
look,
watching this movie, I was like, "When's this going to be over?" Because it just seemed like a retread. And like we've said at the beginning of this podcast, it was almost verbatim the exact same script with just different characters.
well, I mean, going back, and I mean, I kind of said it was the same dialogue. The kill scenes were a lot different, and the story was, instead of a male and a female surviving, it was just two females. But I kind of feel like if you plug and play this movie to the original, a lot of those characters too, like Johnny Galecki, the sister, um,
Bridget Wilson.
Bridget Wilson, Ryan Philippe, and Sarah Michelle Gellar, other than the two that were involved in the accident, who were technically throwaway characters as well. Johnny Galecki's character didn't have to die. The sister, she was kind of a throwaway kill. She didn't have to die.
She had to die just for the simple fact that she was around whenever things were going on. She
Well,
just happened to be a happenstance kill.
well, then so was the podcaster.
The podcaster, I think, was aimed. I think the podcaster, this is my interpretation, I think the podcaster was the main kill in that scene, just for the simple fact of how much she knew and what she wanted to uncover.
And then if you look at it at a 1997 standpoint, technically, I mean, Sarah Michelle Gellar and Ryan,
Ryan Felipe.
yeah, Barry and Helen, they were kind of just, they were the two main characters that just had to die.
Agreed. But there were people that we knew. Because even in the original, remember Anne Heche?
Yeah.
She was in the.
She was
the sister.
The sister of the guy who got killed the year before.
Correct. And whenever we're ready to discuss what killed the movie for me, I'm ready.
Nick, are you ready?
Yeah.
I think I know where you're going with this, but what killed the movie for you?
I didn't mind what was her name, the chick being a killer. I didn't mind that at all. Where they lost me, because like I said, I watched the previous two movies before this, and Nothing in those two films ever pointed to Ray, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, turning into the killer. That was complete bull shit. That was complete. Throw me out of the movie. Complete, just utter nonsense. Ray was a protector. Ray would have never went out of his way to kill people. They completely screwed his character up, and by doing that, they completely ruined this movie with that reveal. In my opinion.
Nick?
Oh, I thought the reveal was kind of just like kind of crazy. But like at that one also I was thinking like, are they retconning the second one, or are they still it's after? Because they make a brief mention about like they tease part two, like can't just go to the Bahamas, whatever.
Oh yeah.
Well, it's
You know,
not. It can't be a retcon because they use Brandy in the closing segment. Because
yeah,
because even in the second one, Ray was still able. He still bought a gun. He went to the island where they were at, and he still went there to protect them and save them from the fishermen. Why, out of all people? That's like sitting there taking. Let's talk about Scream.
I don't. Well, those two always get compared, and I don't think it's fair to compare the two. But I think the thing that you can ultimately put across that made Ray snap is that he lost Julie yet again, and it says not only did he lose her, but he married her and then divorced her. So,
but still getting married to somebody and being with somebody shouldn't make him a killer. It's like I was about to say with Scream. You can't sit there and have all these Scream sequels and all of a sudden Randy's the killer. It's like, how did that happen?
But first off, Randy died in the second one, but Randy would have been the perfect killer. They even explained that in the first movie.
Agreed. But it's just like they were just trying to sit there and be like, you know what, make this sequel so much better and so much more shocking. What if Freddie Prinze Jr. was the killer in this movie? And I'm like, he was the most wholesome guy through the entire first two movies. Why make the most wholesome guy the killer?
Until the second one, when you see him kind of snap and he robs the pawn shop guy for the gun and the bullets.
He does it, but it's still out of love. It's not out of
exactly. You just said it there. It's out of love for Julie, which he again loses in life.
Then why would he go after her? Why would he go
after people? He didn't go after her. He even said it to her in the movie with the dialogue that he was going to let her live. If anything, I think he's doing all this to in some nasty kind of broken heart kind of way. I think he's doing all this, and he even says it for Julie.
Well, he does also say that he's doing this so that they're not forgotten. Because whenever he explains to Julie at the end, he's like, "I'm doing this so we're not forgotten, because what we went through should not be forgotten, and everybody in this town is trying to forget what happened to us."
Yeah. And they're probably not to mention Julie got away. She moved away. Remember, she lives like an hour away.
Oh yeah.
Just like in the second movie, Ray is continuing to stay there to feed those people, to work and grind. And he probably in a real life substance, like, yeah, he not only is he in the wedding business, so he sees it all the time, which probably makes him bitter, but he's feeding people and seeing people that are getting married that are treating him kind of like crap because
a pariah.
Or just he's the guy that stuff happened to. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, he's very much a pariah. But even though he's a pariah, that to me should still make him a killer.
Yeah.
The chick that killed with him, completely understandable story. Good backstory with her. Everything made sense. But Ray was where it killed it for me. I couldn't get past. What is he? I just couldn't get past him doing these things. I couldn't get past Fred, from Scooby Doo killing people.
That's funny.
Wasn't he also doing? Oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was like, wasn't he also doing it as a favor for that the girl he took after?
Yes, he was doing it to keep her safe.
Yeah.
And still, even still, killing somebody to keep somebody safe. I have never sat there in my lifetime sat there and thought a good idea was to keep somebody safe. You know what would be a good idea? Killing some people. That never has crossed my mind.
Yeah.
And I don't think as the character that we were given from the first two, I Know What You Did Last Summer with Ray, I don't think he would be that person that would sit there and put that punctuation on, you know what, would help save the situation if I went and killed a bunch of people. I don't think that, I think they misdirected Ray, and I think they misdirected the ending way too much. They just wanted to go for a shock value of, ooh, look, one of our legacy characters is a killer. It's like naming Cindy Prescott as the killer. It's like, well, why is Cindy the killer? You know, well, she just happened to flip out after 7 movies. You know,
You might have just spoiled the Scream 7. You know, you might have just done that.
But and it felt like that. It felt like, you know, you took a legacy character that would never do those original things in the first 2 scripts that he was available in. He was a protector, and now he's a murderer. You could say he's a protector still, but a murderer? It just didn't make sense to me, man.
I think if say he's not the killer, okay? Let's say the guy who was in the truck. First off, let's explain to everybody. If you haven't gone to see the movie, go see the movie. So, one of the big guys, what's his name? He is Teddy. He's completely wasted. He's out in the middle of the street on that curve that happened in the first movie where they ran over Benjamin. On that curve, a truck swerves. He doesn't get hit, Teddy, and then the truck goes over the cliff, and the person who was driving died. So let's just say that person didn't die, right? Let's say Teddy still was doing the same thing. Truck went over. That guy didn't die. He comes back and haunts and tries to kill those people. But let's say in the middle of all this, either Freddie Prinze Jr., Ray, or Julie James dies. One of the legacy characters dies. And then it's the same thing. Like the killer finally dies at the end of the movie. But yet, but yet Stevie was still in on it.
I would have been okay with it because the two legacy characters trying to solve the murder mystery, that would have made much more sense than one of them being a part of the murders.
But then wouldn't you kind of be like, oh, it really is a rehashing of the same movie because it's the person who, you know, they try to get away with murder from. It's that same person with somebody else.
Even with the reveal that Ray was a killer, it to me, this movie was way too much of a rehash of the original 2. I'm not sure 3, but the original 2, it was way too much of a rehash, and I don't think they did themselves any favors by trying to sit there and buck the trend and make a legacy character the killer. That it just did not make sense, and it was an unwarranted plot point. It was an unwarranted win in their book. It just did not make sense.
I almost thought that it was the pastor, Judah.
See, that was another good red herring. I actually enjoyed his character, you know, because of how creepy he was, how, you know, hands-on he was, if that makes sense. Because he was very much hands-on approach with those girls whenever they came and visited. You know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Nick, let me ask you about your theater experience. How many people was in your theater?
That wasn't really a packed theater, considering it. What? It's already 5 days after, possibly.
Yeah.
I mean, it was still a decent crowd. I think there was only one person that sat with me and my brother. That you get a lot of reactions out of.
Well, yeah, I know for sure, America-wise, it made $13 million.
Yeah, it made $25 million overall. So, I'm kind of in the same boat. Like, I went on a Sunday evening thinking, you know, let's see how it does. First off, the theater I went to, they already have it in the last theater in the hall, which means it's getting ready to come out already. They weren't expecting very much for it. And, yeah, there was only 3 people in our theater. So two of, you know, me and the girlfriend, and then 3 other people. So 5 total. You know, yeah. But, you know, I just think that's slasher movies now in general. unless it's Terrifier
Or
3.
Scream.
I just don't think slasher movies make that much money anymore.
What I was sitting there thinking while watching this, and after seeing how much it made at the box office, it made me concerned for Scream 7. Which is Scream 7 going to have this type of cutoff, or does Scream have more of a legacy than I Know What You Did Last Summer, where more people would want to see Scream 7 over I Knew I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Well, Scream 5 did way better than 6. And 6, I think, also had the star power of Jenna Ortega with it. You don't have
And Melissa Barrera.
You don't have Jenna Ortega for the next one, and it's coming out around Valentine's Day, so who knows? Yeah, I think 5 and 6 did really well because of Jenna Ortega. Jennifer Love Hewitt and Freddie Prinze Jr. They're just not.
They're not bankable names.
They're not it stars anymore.
They're not bankable names at all.
I even with Sarah Michelle Gellar, and yeah, I don't think
the last thing I can sit there and remember Freddie Prinze Jr. being known for was being a WWE writer. And that was like 10, 12 years ago. Like, that's the last thing I can remember. And Jennifer Love Hewitt, she had the Ghost Whisperer. And, and a lot of women love that show. My mom loved the Ghost Whisperer. If there was an episode of the Ghost Whisperer on, she would stop and watch it all the way through. If there was 10 episodes, she'd watch all 10. But they're not bankable names nowadays. And they're not even to me, a bankable name legacy-wise either to carry a movie that tries to live on through legacy. Because the killer of I Know What You Did Last Summer has never been an iconic person compared to who was Ghostface. Does that make sense? If you ask people, who can you name a Ghostface? They'll probably be able to name you 3, 4, maybe even 5 Ghostface. But if you sit there and ask them who was in The Slicker and who was the killer and I Know What You Did Last Summer, 99% of those people could not get it right.
I think it's interesting. The I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 is higher rated than the other 2 sequels, and it's right below the original. The original got a 5.8 on IMDb. I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 got a 5.6. So, and then I Still Know What You Did Last Summer got like a 4.8, and the third one got a Dastering 3.9.
I still find I Still Know What You Did Last Summer to be the better of any of these films, just because of the setting change.
I think another thing also that might have just ruined the movie. First off, we'll get ready to get into star ratings, but I don't think I Know What You Did Last Summer 2025 needed to be 2 hours long.
Right? The version I watched was on computer, yes, without the credits into it, and it was an hour and 49 minutes.
Yeah. Well,
and if you most slasher movies are an hour and 30 to an hour and 35 minutes.
Yeah. I sat there and waited for the Brandy mid-credit scene, and it was about an hour and 50 minutes. So, but before we get into some favorite scenes, does anybody have a favorite kill?
I will say, even though it's in the trailer, where the girl's in the hot and taking a bath and homeboy gets shot with a spear gun, I thought that was pretty cool, and he gets drugged. But then, a lot of the deaths were the same though. With a hook here, a knife there. To me, there just wasn't very many imaginative kills.
Nick, do you have a favorite kill?
I'm going through them now. Yeah, they were all similar. I think it was just really just the aftermath. That was cool to me. It probably would be the trailer scene, honestly.
Uh, yeah, I think the trailer scene is probably going to be the best for everybody, just because that was like, man, that was your big different pop out kill. Besides using like a hook or like a breaking of the neck or a strangling. Um, so yeah,
Because honestly, how many times can you take a hook and kind of end somebody?
I will say I do like the narrative of Ray's death, of him just getting shot, stabbed right through the heart, and it's like, man, this guy has had a heartbreak in every movie, literally now.
And now he's very much so heartbroken because
Yeah,
he has no heart. I did like how Ray was killed, but it was set up.
okay,
It
especially,
was
especially
foreshadowed way before it happened.
and with him turning around and looking at Julie for the last time. I mean, it's poetic justice, right?
And it's kind of like very much so that ending point with Julie looking at Ray as how could you do something like this, and she's trying to understand it, and he's still trying to kill her, but then all of a sudden this big spurt of blood comes out of his chest, and she's left wondering like, what the hell was that? And
Now, and it was
and,
Ray.
and it was the girl that killed Ray. Like she's like, basically like, not my movie, you know.
Now, what I do like about, or what I wish would have happened with Ray's death, I would have liked to see him slowly start falling over, and then maybe Julie catch him, and then slowly lay him down.
I agree with you. I wouldn't mind a final conversation between the two. Like, why'd you do this, Ray?
Yeah.
What's your, you know what I mean? It was missing that heartfelt moment of Julie cradling Ray in her arms, like, I did it for you. I did this, blah 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 blah. Whatever reason we could come up with, but he just gets shot and he just looks at her like, ugh.
But before, I mean, he did mention before he got shot that he did it for her,
which I thought was stupid. Why would he do it for her? What was the point of doing it for her? What she never wanted anybody killed.
He could have said he did it for The Rock.
Right? Right. I did it for The Rock.
Let's get into some star ratings, man. Let's talk I Know What You Did Last Summer and the star rating. Earlier in the week, I gave it a 2.5 on my letterbox. So if you follow on social media, you probably saw that. And I'm going to stick with it. I think, my biggest problem with the movie was probably the length and, just some of the rehashings of the dialogues. But like I said, in my personal view, this is just my opinion. The gore, the kills, the legacy screen time, the on location shot. I thought, the big wedding scenes or the engagement party, all that stuff looked really good. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 out of 5. So, it's right around that area of. I don't know if I'd watch again. If I do, it'll probably be worse or it could be better. But I at least had a decent time watching it, and yeah, so I'm gonna give it a 2.5. Jay, what about you?
Whenever you posted your 2.5, I don't know if you remember this, but I put like, that's way too high. I'd give it a 1.5. But after discussing it and having time to think of it and everything like that, I'm going to give it a 0.5. Like,
Oh wow.
This movie was completely uncalled for. It didn't need a requel or a reboot, whatever the hell you want to call it. The ending completely kills everything that led up to it. The characters were forgettable. The kills were pretty pedantic. And like I remember, I can sit there and name 10 better kills from movies that came out 40 years ago with Friday the 13th and Nightmare on Elm Street that were better than this. This movie has no reason to exist. And just because they had the legacy characters in it, it doesn't matter. 0.5. I'm not even giving it a full 1.
Oh man, giving it the old hook today.
Oh yeah, it's getting right through the throat, and then I'm breaking its neck.
Nick, what about you, man?
I'll give it, boy, I'll give it a generous 2. Only because I did go in very low expectations. Just went in there. But yeah, I think after the theater watch, I was like, talking to my brother, like, well, it's not like the first two movies were masterpieces, but I mean,
Yeah.
I think it's just a bias. Honestly, I'm a slasher fan. Overall, it could be trash, but I mean, just mostly just seeing Freddie Prinze Jr. and Jennifer Love Hewitt return back on the big screen. Um, yeah, but story wise, it wasn't it wasn't really all that great.
Yeah. I could see that. And I mean, I
So
kind of
what's
like.
your rating? What's Nick's
Two.
rating? 2. Okay.
Yeah, it's generous too.
A generous 2.
Yeah.
A generous 2. So you got a 2,
me,
a 2.5, and a 0.5.
This movie to me was completely pointless and unneeded.
So
Could have been a straight to Tubi movie.
Yeah, I wouldn't even put it on straight to TV. Hell, it don't even qualify for a Lifetime TV movie.
a Lifetime TV. That's funny. Next week I am going to try to bring emails back. It is going to be a very, 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 very busy week for me. But if emails don't come back next week, it will come back in 2 weeks when we discuss Happy Gilmore 2. That'll be the first episode of August, Tuesday, August the 5th. Happy Gilmore 2. But next week, guys, same day, new time. Next week we are discussing Fantastic Four. The first steps, the Fantastic Four first steps. That is next Tuesday on a brand new time. 9 p.m. is when we're going to go live. So go have your day, go have your dinner, come back and end your night with the Cinema Movie Podcast next Tuesday, same day, different time, 9 p.m. live on Mr. Wild Productions YouTube channel, on Facebook Live, and still wherever you listen to podcasts at. So
And
Anchor, Spotify, Podbean, iHeartRadio, Pandora, Amazon Music, everywhere you listen.
we're everywhere.
Fantastic Four next Tuesday, 9 p.m.
And if you join us for our Happy 2 Gilmore review, please stop at Subway and get the Happy Gilmore 2 meal deal and enjoy us with that.
We do not sponsor, or do we like Subway?
I love Subway. You can kiss my ass.
If you want a tasty sub, go to Red and Blues Pizza and get you a nice sub sandwich from Red and Blues.
There you go. I'm sorry, we do have our sponsors, but
That's funny.
But they do have a Happy Gilmore 2 food bill at Subway right now.
I'm excited. 2 weeks, Happy Gilmore 2, but next week, Fantastic Four, the first steps, are grueling July, where 4 movies back to back theater releases is coming to an end next week. It has been a fun summer. I can't wait to talk Fantastic Four next week. Nick, maybe you're gonna go see Fantastic Four?
Actually, this Thursday on the big
Thursday.
screen.
Nice.
IMAX.
Well, next Tuesday, 9 p.m. Guys, before we get out of here, anything else you want to put in the final coffin for I Know What You Did Last Summer?
Bumblebee Tuna.
Bumblebee Tuna. You heard it first. Bumblebee Tuna here. Everybody have a great week, great weekend. We'll see you guys next Tuesday for a brand new episode of the Cine-Men Movie